Map the unknown. Marco and Fran, I will give you the floor.
Okay, hello guys. We're just gonna start sharing our screen.
Oh my God, there is people from so many different states in the US, Czech Republic, Chile. Amazing. So many different people from different parts of the world. That's exciting. Thank you for joining. Oh, let's see.
Okay, did that work? Can you guys see our screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome. Awesome.
Okay. I think we can go ahead and start. Yeah. I lost the chat window when we're sharing, so I'll just leave it up to you, Leia, the chat window. Okay. Okay, let's get started. Well, thanks everyone for joining, and thanks to the Nomadic Network for hosting this event. This is very exciting. Let me just put the microphone here, make sure you guys hear us. And can you guys hear us? Okay.
Awesome. Please, we are going to talk, but we want you guys to engage, write comments, leave questions. We will have at the end of the webinar, we will have a space for Q&A. So please leave any questions and engage with us. So, this can be a two-way thing and we can make this fun, So thank you. Can we count on you that you are going to engage and you're not going to leave us alone just talking, Can we count on you guys? Leave a heart or put your thumbs up. Thank you.
Let's get started. We'll start by introducing ourselves. So I am Marco. I was born and raised in the Philippines. So I speak Tagalog, I speak Filipino. And I'm also a US citizen. I became a US citizen 2 years ago. So very useful for my travels, that passport. And I live in United States for 15 years. That's why I became a US citizen. And I lived before in Chicago. That's my hometown in United States.
Anyone from Chicago, leave it in the comments.
So I worked before as an IT consultant. And in 2018, after 15 years of my corporate job, I quit my job and started traveling. And I love to travel. And I'm now a content creator. And we started our online business, which is Map the Unknown, to help people to live a travel lifestyle like us.
Hola, everyone. Hola, everyone. That's Spanglish. I'm from Argentina and also have Italian passport thanks to my grandfather. So I'm Argentinian Italian. I'm an ontological life coach, a writer, and I also love to travel. That's something that we had in common with Marco since the beginning. You can notice we are quite a multicultural couple. So it was we have an interesting love story, but today that's not the topic. Together we will map the unknown. We are passionate about traveling, self-development, travel hacking, digital entrepreneurship. So we really hope that with this talk, we get to share a bit of all that expertise that we have in these different topics, and you can learn on how to travel without paying for accommodation.
And so we want to get to know you guys too. We want to know everyone in this call. So if you can also share what country you're from or share your flag, and that would be really great. We want to see where everybody's from.
Yeah, we know there is some people from Czech Republic, US, Chile. So please keep on sharing where are you from.
We like meeting people. Okay, so our story is we've been traveling full-time since 2018. So it's going to be 5 years next month. That's going to be a big milestone for us. When we started, we thought we're only going to travel for a year with our savings, and we don't know how it's going to go. That's why we called it Map the Unknown. We don't know. It's unknown to us. And now it's going to be 5 years. So we're very happy with that. And we really love traveling, and this is our lifestyle. So what we do is we travel the world and we share our experiences in social media to inspire other people that it's possible to live a traveling lifestyle. And for us, we tried many different types of lifestyles. In the beginning, we did a lot of backpacking, couch surfing. That's how we started. And we followed Nomadic Mat right away because all of the budget travel hacking tips, we did that. And we did house sitting. We also did some luxury travel and volunteering. And for us, house sitting became our favorite way to find accommodation around the world. And we're going to tell you in this webinar why. and why we highly recommend house sitting. And we really love house sitting.
And I think many of you might resonate with us because I saw that you guys did volunteer work, couch surfing. So you get the feeling on how it's, to try other different types of travel lifestyles.
And I think that goes to this next slide.
Yep. So now we told you guys about us. We want to know about you. Are there any nomads out there? Part-time travelers, remote workers, aspiring digital nomads?
Or what type of traveler are you? There are different types of travel lifestyles out there. And so we want to get to know you guys. And especially this year, after the pandemic, people realized they can work remotely. We met a lot of remote workers, and they're really doing slow travel. Like they're gonna stay 3 months in a country, and they're doing their work there. So that's amazing.
So please leave in the chat if you've been traveling the world for some time, if you're traveling around your home country, or is your goal actually to start being a digital nomad?
I was able to figure out the chat, guys.
Super
Okay.
digital nomad. Nice,
Yay!
Sharon. That's amazing, Sharon. That's wonderful. Remote worker, 2.6 in Ghana. Oh my God. Aspiring digital nomad. Working towards that.
So we're seeing remote workers, aspiring digital nomad, learning to be a digital entrepreneur. Great. We were in that position, guys,
Wow.
5 years ago.
That's amazing. Stay in hostels. I have a 5-week trip planned to Mexico. Wow. Oh my God. So many different people. Part-time traveler who loves camping and bikepacking. Oh, that's amazing, though.
Bikepacking, love it.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing and engaging. It makes this so much fun. So thank you for being there and actually engaging.
Okay.
That's so nice.
So let me minimize again the chat so we can see our presentation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hearing stories from other people.
Ex-world overland nomad. Whoa, 1979. That's amazing.
Wow. We also have a RV, so we do overlanding also with our RV. We do also van life.
That's amazing.
So
wow, so many different people with different travel lifestyles. I'm so excited.
Mediterranean coast. Okay.
Now we go back to our presentation after we see the chat.
Okay, so let's continue. So one thing we learned in this traveling lifestyle, and maybe some of you guys who live a nomad lifestyle can also resonate with this, is it's not as easy as you see in social media. Some of our followers, they think, oh, you guys are always on vacation, you guys are lying on the beach, but it's not really like that. Always. We love this lifestyle. We really love what we do. But there's some things you need to consider. You need to find your own balance. You're not in that structure anymore. So you need to find your balance. How do you balance work or your online business with your personal time and your relationships and versus your passion of exploring and having adventures? That's a lot to balance, actually. You need to find your routine and some stability, and also accommodations can get very expensive. So those are the things that in our first year we realized it very fast that, hey, we need to find our balance. This is not the lifestyle that's sustainable for us. So, and that's how we started asking this question: how can I find the stability and comfort of a home, still feeling at home, even if I'm away from home, while still traveling to different countries without paying for accommodation?
Hello?
That's what we are going to answer right now.
Yeah, when we asked that question to ourselves, we were like, oh my God, this seems impossible. I mean, stability, comfort, traveling, and all of that without paying for accommodation. For us, it was like, oh my God, this sounds impossible. But we actually found the answer to that question. So if you actually have that question to yourself, if you ever wonder, how can you have the stability and comfort of a home while traveling the world without paying for accommodation? Today, we will share with you the answer, the solution to that problem. So we will share with you what's house sitting, how and where to find those house sitting opportunities, what are the requirements, the responsibilities, what are the benefits, and what's the downside, because house sitting is also not for everyone. All of us, we like different kind of travel lifestyles. So we really want you to get a feeling if this is for you or not. And also, if you decide that, hey, house sitting, it is for me, how you can actually get started. And if you stay with us until the end, we have a surprise gift.
So make sure to stay until the end for the surprise gift.
So let's start. So as we share, when we started traveling, our situation was so different. We started in 2018. That was our first year traveling around the world. We used to change accommodation every 5 days on average. Like every 5 days, we used to change accommodation. And now we are very close in January 2023 to reach 5 years traveling the world full time. And we went from changing accommodation every 5 days on average to actually having a home for free around the world from 1 up to 5 months or 6 months. We went from spending $10,000 to $20,000 on accommodation every year to actually saving that money, saving $20,000 on accommodation every year. Before, we used to do a mix of volunteer work, campage, couchsurfing, hostels, and that was actually a bit tiring for us in that first year. And now we actually house it 70% of the year, and the rest we mix it with RV life or hotels, adventures, camping. So having that change allow us to go in from not having too much stability to focus our energy on our online business or online projects to actually having a stable place with good internet to work in our projects, because we were able to actually have a home in different parts of the world. So thank you to house sitting, we were not able to only save up money, but also be able to find that balance, that stability that we were actually really craving for.
Okay, so it sounds too good to be true, but it is true. And for the past 4 years, we have one of the most wonderful experiences. We house sat like by the mountains, by the beach, on a beach house, on the city that we like, and we always have the company of the pets. 95% of the house sitting has pets, so we have this company from pets that we love, and we're also able to save on car rental. Not all, but most of the house sitting, the homeowners also leave their car or vehicle for us to use, so we can take the pets out and we can buy grocery and use it to explore. And last, we were able to live like a local, and we really, really love that part where you stay in a local house and you get to experience the lifestyle there, and you really get to connect with the culture.
Yeah, actually, that picture of Marco in a golf cart was in Florida. I don't know if there is anyone from Florida here, but we were in the Villages, which is called the Disney World for adults.
It's like a golf cart community.
We had so much fun. It was something that we will probably never experience if it was not thanks to house sitting. So 2 months living, in a golf course community, going everywhere with the golf course, it was amazing. So I don't know if there is anyone here from the Villages, but it was so much fun.
So these are some of our favorite house sitting opportunities, just to show you guys like what you can do with the house sitting, or where you can be in house sitting. For example, we did house sitting in, you want to talk about the Thailand? We did house sitting in Thailand, in Krabi, which is one of the most famous destinations, for 4 months. So we didn't pay for any accommodation, and we were there. We saved up around $4,000 on that. And next, we were able to house sit in the Caribbean. We were in a beach house, like in front of the Caribbean Sea, which is amazing.
That picture that you are seeing is actually the patio of the house where we were house sitting, taking care of 2 German Shepherds that were amazing.
And again, we didn't pay for accommodation. We saved around $15,000 plus. Because we had the stability, we were able to boost our online business. We were able to release our mobile app during that time, and we were able to focus on our passion projects.
Then also, we actually house sit in Florida in the middle of the pandemic, when everyone was called to stay at home. We were stuck in the US. We didn't have a home. We are nomads, so we didn't have a home. And thanks to house sitting, we were able to find a home in the middle of the pandemic, and we were able to house at for 4 months in Florida, save up $5,000 on accommodation. But most importantly for us, we were able to have a home with pets. We took care of a cat, of dogs, and we were able actually to have a home in the middle of the pandemic. That was very special for us.
And then this was just this year. So this year we went to Europe, and we were in Europe for 6 months, and we didn't pay for any accommodation. Imagine that. Like this year, the hotels and even hostels, like the prices were 3 times the previous year. So thanks to house sitting, we were able to spend 6 months in Europe without paying for accommodation. We went to Italy, Croatia, Slovenia, Scotland, London. What else?
So many. I don't know. Greece.
Greece. Yeah, we house sat in Greece for 1 month. So it was an amazing experience. So these are the things that you can do, or where you can go to when house sitting.
And the reason actually behind all of these wonderful, amazing experiences is these beautiful pets. We took care of more than 30 pets in the past 4 years, and they bring so much joy in our travels. Seriously, I think they are the big plus in this lifestyle, in this house sitting lifestyle. They push us to go and explore the neighborhood, go for a hike, when you are actually in a new place and you're, still getting the feeling on how things are and everything. Thanks to them, we are able not only to have free accommodation, but also get the feeling on how it's like to live there. They push us to go for a hike, go for a walk, keep us active. So they are the reason behind all of this.
So, well, we've been talking about these wonderful experiences, and now we're gonna go to what is house sitting. So, in simply put, house sitting is taking care of someone else's house and pets while the owners are away. The owners might be on a business trip, on a vacation, visiting family, or other urgencies. And in exchange, you get to stay in their house for free. And sometimes it includes the car. So it's a win-win exchange where you get to have free accommodation. And in return, the owners are assured that the house is secured. And most importantly, the pets are happy. That's the most important thing, the pets. They're like their babies.
Yeah,
So
if any of you have pets, you know how precious they are and how important it is for you to leave it with, someone that you can trust.
Yep. And we receive multiple messages asking if this is a job. So because there are actually people who gets paid as a house sitter. But in this case, what we're talking about is it's an exchange. It's a fair exchange of services. And since it's a fair exchange, there's no exchange of money. It works well for travelers like us because you don't need a working visa because it's not a job. And there's no exchange of money. There's no taxes involved and all of that admin stuff. So it's a fair exchange of services. You take care of their house and pets, and they're assured that the house is safe and the pets are happy.
So now, where can you actually find these house sitting opportunities? So there are 3 main continents with house sitting opportunities. Those are Europe, North America, and Oceania. I hope I got the pronunciation right.
Oceania.
But you can also, house sitting is becoming more and more popular. Back then when we started, there was actually not much information, and it was hard to know someone who actually was doing house sitting, and you can actually ask that person, how it's like to house sit. But nowadays, house sitting is becoming more and more popular. So you can find also opportunities worldwide in famous expat destinations like Asia, South America, Central America, including the Caribbean islands like St. Lucia or Grenada, and also Barbados, and also Africa. And in any of these continents, the type of accommodation that you can get, it can vary from a luxury house to a beachfront house to a simple apartment in the city or a cabin farmhouse. There is plenty of different type of accommodations when house sitting.
And how can you find house sitting opportunities? So there are multiple platforms. So we won't go through all of this, but basically there are lots of options for you depending on your goal and depending on the destination that you're going to go to. There are platforms that are more diverse, like it's global, and there are platforms that are specific to country. So there you go.
we will later on, we will actually explain the one that we actually recommend for us, for the type of lifestyle or based on what we are actually looking for. We will share what we recommend, but again, it's up to you, like based on what you are actually looking for, which type of platform will actually fit you best. But there are opportunities for everyone. Our first house sitting in Alaska was a 3-day house sitting. We actually got accepted right away. We met our host the day we actually started the house sitting. We didn't get interview. They accept us right away. And that was a 3-day house sitting. Then we had a 7-day house sitting in Rome, in Italy. We house sat for 1 month in Jeju Island in South Korea. And our longest was a 4-month house sitting in Grenada. But you can find even opportunities for 1 year, 6 months. We saw opportunities actually in Greece, a house that was looking for a sitter for like a year without pets. So it's really up to you and what you are looking for. Short-term, long-term, long weekend, 1 week vacation with the family, maybe slow travel, or maybe perhaps work remotely from a different location in your home country. The options are so many. So there are options for everyone. So I think right now you can get the feeling how much we love house sitting. I think there are so many benefits, but also with the benefits, it comes the downside. So we will go quickly with the benefits because I think you get the feeling that house sitting is amazing, but also we believe that it's important to know the downside so you can really know if it's for you or not. So the benefits, you can have a home and all the comfort of a home in different parts of the world. You have the company and unconditional love of pets. Oh my God, so many, we took care of so many pets. You can live rent-free and even actually have a car rental for free because they will leave the car or the motorbike. We have the motorbike in Asia. Depending on the country, you will have maybe a motorbike, a golf cart, or a car. You have the stable place with good internet to work and move forward with your business or your online projects. You will meet like-minded people and you will be part of a wonderful international community of pet lovers and travelers. Most of the homeowners become our friends because we share the love of pets and traveling. So we still talk with each other and they became our friends. So that's really nice. And sometimes they even introduce us to people. So we get to actually, through our host, we get to meet other people. So it's a wonderful community and you will live like a local. So you will get to experience different kind of lifestyles. So we love house sitting and those are the benefits.
And I'll talk about the downside.
Marco got the downside.
I get the downside. So the downside is there's less opportunity to meet people. It's not like you're in a hostel where people come in and out and you keep on meeting people. So if you're that type of backpacker who likes meeting people in hostels, then maybe you will miss that if you do house sitting. So what we do is, since we're taking care of a house, we go to meetups, we go to activities like a volleyball game and stuff like that. So we can still meet people even if we're living in that house or living in that country. And then
okay, no problem. Okay, bye-bye.
And then you will have some limitation to explore because the priority are the pets. So for example, dogs, they have a certain routine. You need to walk them in the morning or at night. So you might need to adjust your schedule depending on the pets. Next is commitment. So this is not like booking.com, then you can just cancel whenever you want, like free cancellation. It will be harder to do that with house sitting because you're committing to someone entrusted that you will take care of their house and their pets while they're away. So if you suddenly cancel, there will be financial implications for them for that. They need to find a pet hotel if you cancel, So there's some financial implications and that's not how you want to be. That's very frowned upon to keep on canceling your house sitting. You can only cancel in like very an emergency situations, and you're gonna live in someone else's space. It can be as simple as, where is the peeler, or where is the, you know, where's the knife, where are the knives, you know, they live differently from you, so you need to be open to experience and living different type of lifestyle.
Or even how they take care of their pets. Every owner has different ways to take care of their pets, and you need to respect that.
Correct. And then last is saying goodbye to the pets. This is the hardest part actually, because you stay in the house for a month, you take care of this wonderful pet, and then, you know, you need to say goodbye to the pet. And we always connect with the pet, and we always spend a lot of time with the pet. And at one point, you're gonna have to say goodbye and return the house and the pet to their owners.
Yeah. So those are the benefits and the downside of house sitting. And I think at this point you might ask, you know, is it house sitting for me? You know, so we list down here a few questions that if you ask them to yourself, it can give you a feeling if house sitting is for you. So, do you love animals?
Well, who doesn't love animals? Well, I love, and we love animals, and 95% of the house sitting are with pets or with animals. And well, next, are you able to communicate in English? Because most of the platforms are in English, so you need to at least have some basic English communication skills. Next is, are you 21 years old or above? Because again, the platforms, they require you to be at least 21 years old, matured enough to take care of someone else's house and pets. Do you have the flexibility to travel? Because sometimes the dates won't match. The house sit dates will match with you, so you need to be a little bit flexible with the dates, or flexible with the location. For example, in Europe, the dates didn't match for us in Italy, so we looked for another house sit beside Italy, which is in Slovenia or in Croatia. So we're able to switch location that will match our dates, or switch the dates that will match on the location where you're going. And then the last two is just, of course, you need to be responsible enough, and that you're open to staying in different houses and experiencing different lifestyles.
So if you answer yes to all of this, then house sitting it is for you, and definitely you should try it.
Actually, I want to see your answers.
Yeah. So yeah,
after reading all of that, what do you guys think of house sitting? Is it a yes? Is it like something you guys are interested in? Leave it in the chat. It's a yes.
Wow, so many yes. Oh my God, Burnett, Ashley, Aaron.
Some people, when we tell them like, you guys travel the world and by taking care of pets, like, wow, it's an amazing lifestyle. It's not a bad lifestyle actually. So.
Absolutely. Oh my God, so many yes. Wow.
Okay, great.
Wow.
So we
are excited for you.
We're excited for you guys. We're gonna continue. So now we're gonna talk about how you guys. Hold on, sorry.
We need to move the chat again.
You need to move the chat window.
Yes. Wow. So if you answer yes, and we can see so many yeses there, in the next slides we will share how you can get started with house sitting, and there is a big class surprise gift, so stay there with us until the end so you can get it. So now let's get started. How you can actually start your house sitting journey.
Okay, so we believe that like everything in life, that what we do, we always start with a why. Why are we doing this? So it's important that you write, why are you house sitting? One, because if you apply for a house sit, if you're just doing this to get free accommodation, you know, house sitting is way more than just free accommodation. It's about sharing the love for pets and traveling, and it's a community. And it's an experience. Yeah, it connects people from different parts of the world. So if you're just house sitting for the free accommodation, they will see it in your profile. They will know it based from your answer. So you need to at least put a reason why are you house sitting. For us, house sitting is give us the possibility to fulfill our dream of traveling the world. So that's one of our purpose, and also we love pets. So yeah, it's a perfect scenario for us.
Yeah, and everyone has a different why. We met people who was like, I lost my pets and I don't want to have pets again, so I prefer to start house sitting and take care of someone else's pets. So that's my way to have pets now. Or some people, they are a traveling family and they want to their family to have, you know, different experiences around the world as locals. So everyone has a different why, and we believe that it's important that you as that yourself if you're going to start house sitting.
And then next, you're going to choose the platform. And in the next slide, we're going to tell you our recommendations. And you're going to register. And then after that, you're going to create a profile. This is very important. This is like your resume. This is like your cover letter. And then, or your dating profile, whatever you call it. But that's the first thing that the homeowners will see. So it's important to create a good profile. And then last is the exciting part where you search and you start applying. So we're going to go through that today.
Yeah. So for each of these steps, we will go more in depth in the next few slides.
And there's a lot of details here, but we cannot share in one webinar. We put it in an ebook, which we will share also at the end.
So when we started, like, we did lots of research. It took us 3 months to decide if we are going to invest in a house sitting platform. So we really researched the differences between each platform and to actually see if, which one fits better our needs, our desires. So we did a research and we try our best to put it here, a comparison between the 3 main house sitting platforms.
There are many platforms. These 3 are our recommended ones because they're global. But out of these 3, our most recommended one is Trusted House Sitters. I'll continue. Okay, and because Trusted House Sitters, they have a global community. Like, you can find house sitting in almost every continent except Antarctica. And and they have
it's gonna be difficult.
They're secure, and because of the ID verification, it's free, and there's the criminal background check also for US house sitters. They have an insurance, which is thankfully we haven't used that, but it's nice to have. And they have the mobile app. This is a game changer because
it's the only platform that actually has a mobile app, and we love it. It makes our life so much easier. That's my favorite, I think.
And then we always apply just on our mobile app because we're always on the go. So this is one of our favorite things with Trusted House Sitters.
And you can allow notifications, so it's game changer.
And it has a big community. There's a community forum, and there's great customer service. The only downside of Trusted House Sitters is one of the most expensive. But it's, you get what you pay for with all of the services, but it's totally worth it. And to help, we have a 25% off. That's our referral link. So we'll send it to you guys also, our referral link, so that you can get 25% off on the annual membership.
And if you actually use that 25% off, the membership, the basic membership, I think it ends up in $100.
Like $99. Yeah.
And that you will get it back in your first house sitting opportunity.
House sitting is the best investment we've made in our traveling lifestyle. Like, seriously, like in our first house sit in Alaska, we were undecided, and then we say, okay, let's pay for the membership. We paid, it was cheaper that time. I think it's like $70. And on our first house sit in Alaska, we save up more than $2,000 on accommodation and car rental. So if you just want to try this out and you want to, okay, I'll try house sitting, see if it's for me. On your first house sit, you'll get that money back right away because you'll save lots of money just by having free accommodation.
I mean, we were in your shoes. It took us 3 months. But after we purchased that membership, we were like, why we didn't do this earlier? It was like, this is amazing. Why it took us 3 months? All the amazing opportunities we could have had in those 3 months. So that's something that when someone asks, what's your tip to start house sitting? Don't overthink it. If you feel that house sitting is for you, try it out, because that's the only way that you will see how it feels. And
Right.
You will make back that money, that investment in your first 1 to 2 house sittings.
So there's very low risk with that,
Yeah.
with that annual membership. So once you get your platform, once you pick your platform and you register, next is to create your profile. So again, this is like your resume,
Yeah.
or like your dating profile, because you need to match with the homeowner and with the pets. And you need to ask, why would someone leave their precious house and beloved pets to you? So you need to show that you love pets. You need to show that you're trustworthy. You need to be sincere and authentic, that you're a real person. So these are some tips that we can share with you guys on how we created our profile. It took us 4 years to create a good profile,
We
but
learned along the way. Our very first profile was so much different. So all these 6 tips that we put here is based on our real experience, things that work for us and that it helped our profile to stand out from the rest. So these are the 6 tips that we put.
I'll just go through this
Yep.
quickly. Connect with the owners through photos. So put some photos with pets, put some photos of what you like to do. So be authentic with your photo. You don't need like professionally taken photos. Actually, it's better if it doesn't look curated, like it's like you're like a real person. Create an appealing headline, something that's engaging, that will catch their attention. And share your purpose and story. This is the very important part, because when they read your profile, they need to connect on, why are you doing this? Why are you actually house sitting for me? And that's why it's important to understand the why. Why are you house sitting? Share your social media profile so they can get to know you more, and they can check out your social media profiles.
It happened to us many times that they check out our social media profile and they were able to connect with us immediately. Oh, you like scuba diving? Oh, where I'm, this house where you're going to house it, it's full of scuba diving spots. You will have a blast. Or, you get a connection immediately. So that if you have a social media platform, that's a big plus.
Right. We can use their social media to our advantage. And the last 2 is to get verified. If you get verified, you get 20% more chance. Actually, it happened to us. We didn't get verified right away, and we never got house sitting opportunities. And then once we get verified, that's when it took off. We started getting more opportunities and get accepted. So you need to get verified with your phone, with your address, with your physical home address, and with your email. So there are 3 verifications, and then the last is have external references. So this is important. Get reference from your friends or someone you took care of. If you have a friend that you took care of their house and pets before, so it's good to have reference from them.
So once you have a beautiful shiny profile, now it's time to start applying. So you got the membership, you got your profile, now it's time to start applying. This is a question that we get a lot. Like, would I get accepted when I start applying if I don't have reviews yet? And everyone starts at the same point. All of us who started house sitting in a certain platform didn't have reviews at the beginning. We all were in the same page, and what you can start doing is to start, asking friends, like what Marco was saying, someone who can actually give you an external reference. That will really help you when you start applying. In our ebook, we go in details on giving you secrets and tips to actually help you in those first steps. But the best part, or the key is to start applying. Don't overthink it.
Yeah, don't get intimidated. Although it can get competitive, especially if you're applying to famous destinations like in Hawaii or a beachfront
Or New York.
house, or in New York. Some famous destination, or Italy. Italy is very competitive also. It can get competitive, but don't get intimidated because you're applying against other house sitters that has lots of reviews. So just apply, and we will share in this next slide some tips so you can
The secrets.
some secrets so you can get a house sit even if you're new to this platform. So first is actually now is the perfect time to get into house sitting because it's the holidays. If you apply during the holidays, you have more chances of getting accepted. Why? Because a lot of people, they travel, they want to go somewhere during the holidays and visit family. And you can save someone from being stuck at home by taking care of their house and pets so they can go and travel. So during the holidays, lots of opportunities, and you have lots of chances to get accepted because they want to go. They want to visit family and travel.
It happens to us every year around starting October to December. We receive so many invites of people who is like, hey, do you want to house it for me? Because you can receive invitations because they are already looking for cities for the holidays. So this is the perfect timing to start.
Apply during the holidays. Okay, next is apply to places with less competition. When we started in Alaska, and we didn't know this, but Alaska was the least visited state in the United States. So there's not a lot of competition. We got accepted right away, even if we didn't have reviews. So you can research on this, some places or cities that are not very busy or not as visited, and you can get house sitting there first if you want. Then look out for last minute house sitting. This you can get accepted right away because they need to travel, or the homeowners need to travel and leave right away, so they won't be as picky. For applying first in your own city, so you can meet up with the owner, get connected with them personally, and actually you get accepted right away. And then last, apply for a shorter duration sits. Like if you apply for 3 to 5 days, you can rack up reviews and you can collect reviews and get your profile up, and you get more reviews in your profile.
So we hope all these secrets helps you with your house sitting journey. And
I think that's it. Thanks for joining, guys. We want to make sure we have time for the Q&A, but we hope you enjoyed this webinar and that we're able to introduce you this wonderful world of house sitting. And before we leave, we have a gift for you.
Yeah, we have 2 gifts. So because you stay with us the whole almost hour, we have free house sitting checklist. This checklist that you will get, it took us 4 years to build. We are the type of people that we are very organized. We are very picky. I don't know. Everything needs to have a checklist. So we used to have this checklist in our phones, and we decided to put it in our ebook and put it out there for you guys, so you can make the most of it. And when you do your first house sitting, you already know what
all the things you need to consider before you start your house sit. So this is a must checklist for every house sitter.
It will save you.
We're giving it to you guys for free. We will give the link on the chat window, or is Leia gonna do it? I will give it on the chat window, and you'll receive it also in the email when Leia sends the presentation.
Exactly.
And also we're giving 30% off to all our ebooks and our mentoring sessions. So we have an ebook that has 100+ pages of information, tips and secrets and examples and our process to get house sitting. And we house sit full time. Seriously, we house sit full time. So there are tips and techniques on how to house it full time internationally. So it's all there. We put all the information that we know there. We put a lot of love in this ebook. So, and
real stories. We also share real stories. Many people ask us, do you have any bad experience? What are the things that you might consider? What if the seats gets canceled? What do I do? All those things that sometimes is so hard to, compress and put it in a 1 minute audio or something, or in a story, something that is so hard to share. We compile everything in that ebook. So
I think the important thing is like what to do during the house sit, and what if something goes wrong. I think a lot of people ask that question. So we put some tips there on what to do.
Everything. Yeah, you will have everything. It's like the Bible for house sitting. You will have everything you need to start house sitting, and we will give you a 30% off for being part of the Nomadic network.
Right. So the information is there. Just use the coupon code, and it's valid until Saturday, December 10th. And we'll also send you this discount. So we have 24% off on Trusted House Sitters and all of the other tools we use when we go travel and use house sitting.
Yeah. And that's it. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that you actually send where are you from, that you answer to our questions. It makes this so much fun and much more interesting. So thank you so much for being there.
Thank you so much, guys. I think you want to say something before
No, I'm so happy so many people said yes, because for us, house sitting is very special and we love it. And it's something that it really helped us to fulfill our dream of traveling the world. So we are so excited for you guys.
So we're going to go now to the Q&A. So we're going to pass it on back to Leia.
Yes, thank you so much. We have so many incredible questions, so we're going to get started because we'll try to get through them in 15 minutes. Everyone, I dropped Fran and Marco's contact information in the chat. Everyone here will get a copy of the presentation by early next week, which means you'll also get the links to the discounts in the presentations as well. That should be out by Friday. And yeah, let's go ahead. So Marco and Fran, Rachel wants to know, how do you time out your stays and how far in advance do you book stays on average? We're about to let go of our lease and want to know how much time it will be without a home between stays and how we can find accommodation between sittings.
Very good question. I'll answer that.
Yeah, I think you have the perfect answer for that.
Hey, Rachel. So we usually apply 2 to 3 months ahead. So it's something you need to plan a little bit ahead. But I'll give you some examples. When we, as we said, 70% of the time we house it full time. So we kind of plan that 2 to 3 months ahead. Like we already start checking on a specific destination that we like, if there are opportunities, and then we try to look for the destinations that we want for the year. And usually we like to slow travel. For us, a two-week house sitting is our minimum, because that's when you get your grounding, you get the stability, you get to know the pets, you get to know the routine. So 2 weeks is the good sweet spot for us. And sometimes we house it up to 1 month to 3 months. And the longest one was 4 months.
4 months.
But there are house sitters there that they actually house it until 6 months to a year. And we still house it sometimes for 3 to 5 days. And mostly those are to fill in the gaps between house sits. And we still get to help someone by house sitting, and we fill the gaps between those small house sits. So those small house sits usually shorter house sits, we usually get it on the last minute only if needed.
Yeah. And to answer your question, if maybe there is a chance for you that you might not have a home in between seats, in a real example, 6 months in Europe, and we had house sittings line up like one after the other one. It only happened once, and we knew in advance that I think it was 5 days that we have in between seats. So we paid an accommodation only for those 5 days, but in 6 months, only 5 days. So
it's possible to line up house sits and get long house sits if you really want. So you need to start looking 2 to 3 months ahead. That's what we suggest.
And also always look for the last minutes, because maybe you also get lucky, like maybe you were not expecting to go somewhere and you see an opportunity that fits you perfectly, go for it. That's also something that we always do. So we hope we answer your question.
That's really good to know. So you are planned out pretty decently in advance. So that's good. It takes preparation. Just for those that might be leaving, is the code for trusted house sitters, is it a URL or is it a code? Because some people were asking for it in the chat. So if people have to jump off, I wanted to drop that to them.
URL, no?
It's a URL, and it's in I'll drop the link now. We created a landing page for that with all of the information. Now it's in the chat, and the 25% off should be there also.
Yeah, there you will find all the links with the discounts.
Perfect. There we go. Links with discounts. Okay. Thank you for answering that question. Let's see. Next, Max Newmagan Traveler. Sorry if I'm butchering your name, Max. Max says, I see the most important thing is that you can prove that you're reliable. So you need a verifiable history and references. How does one get this history when first starting out? Someone else also asked, can you post past Airbnb reviews that talk about how good of a guest you are? What would you recommend?
Well, I think there are 3 things. One, you can put the link to Airbnb, to LinkedIn, so they can see you outside the platform. So we highly recommend doing that, putting the links to Airbnb or LinkedIn or any social media platform that you might use. And third, we did this. We started with 0 references, and what we did, we asked for external references. We asked for friends who actually we took care of their pets or house, and we also asked our parents. We asked our parents, hey, can you leave a review for me, how I am, or who I am. So friends, family members. Also, you can maybe, if you are renting a property from someone, maybe if your landlord can leave a review on how trustworthy you are. So you can get creative on someone from your circle can leave a reference. So you can be trustworthy even though you don't have reviews yet in the platform. In the ebook, we share more examples of questions like to actually help you get creative, because you have experience outside the platform. You might not have experience inside the platform, but you have a whole, your whole life. You have people who knows you. So it's just a matter of getting creative.
And yeah, you will definitely start without reviews, but if you follow some of our tips for newbies, like what we shared earlier, then you can start collecting reviews, and that will be really helpful.
We have a friend who was the first one to read our ebook, and in less than a month, she got her first house sitting opportunity in Chicago, taking care of a cat, I mean. So it's possible.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Get creative essentially and find other ways that people can vouch for you as a professional, essentially. Excuse me. All right. Marco and Fran, if you can go ahead and stop your screen sharing. Sometimes we love to see everyone's faces at the end. So I'm going to go ahead. Luke had 3 good questions. So I'm going to go through some of them. First one is, how do you handle it when the house does not include a car, particularly in a US city or a rural area?
I think that's a good question. When you have that's a very good question, actually. When you have an interview, we always say that you need to ask the homeowner to give you a feeling on where are you going to stay. If you really need a car, or if there is public transportation, so you can get a feeling on how it's like to house it there. It happened to us with a real example, a house sitting in Italy. It was in a rural area, and the car was not included. And we researched how much it could cost us to rent a car, and it was up to $2,000. And we were like, we love the opportunity, we love the pets that we will take care of, but for us, it's not an even exchange, because we will need to invest $2,000 to have a rental car because it's in a rural area. So what we didn't accept that. That was a real example.
And you need to understand, this is a fair exchange, so it needs to work for you also.
Exactly.
For US, for example, 90% of the time, they leave the car.
Yeah.
So it depends on the owner. There was one time they didn't leave the car, so we just managed to understand the area. And if it's the groceries walking distance, then it's fine. If they have a bike, then we use the bike to do grocery, or we just plan our travels. Hey, we're gonna be here. We focused on exploring in that city. So we just walk or bike, and then if we need to go outside the city, we rent a car like only once or twice a month to explore outside and visit some national parks.
Yeah.
But there's a way to still house it even if the car is not included.
In our experience, most of the time it included the car, but when it didn't, we got the feeling of the area and everything.
Or we rent a car or use a different,
or public transportation, bike,
or Turo. We use that type of platforms to get transportation.
So we hope we answered your question.
Awesome. Thank you. Brian has Luke has another question. Is house sitting essentially a buyer's market or seller's market? In other words, is it easy to find houses to sit? Like, do you two as house sitters have a lot to choose from? Or are there like 50 potential house sitters to each nice house? Is there an imbalance of what's being offered on the platform?
Well, depends on the platform. Right now, I think trusted house sitters, they have the most opportunities. And again, like last year or this year, we house sat 6 months in Europe and nonstop. So there are lots of opportunities for you. It can get competitive especially in Europe, that once the homeowner posts the opportunity and they get like 20 applicants right away. I saw that. So that's why it's good to have good reviews. It's good to have good profile, because it can get competitive on specific location. But for example, here in the US, last year we house sat also in Denver, Colorado. There were no competitions. Like we applied, and we were the only one who applied in Denver, Colorado. And so it can still be easy to look for house sitting applications. It really depends on the destination. Some destinations are very very famous, and a lot of people, lots of house sitters wants to go there.
It depends a
And then-
lot on the location.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, South America has less opportunities than US, Europe, or Australia. Like,
Right.
like Australia, Europe, and the US, plenty of opportunities. Actually, in the US, it happened, like what Marco said. We talked to our homeowners, to our hosts, and some of them, they were like, yeah, this should be something more famous, you know, because there are lots of opportunities and sometimes there are not many sitters. Like in Europe, I think house sitting has been there for a while, so there is more competition. So there is more sitters, sometimes more sitters than opportunities, but still with the platform, Trusted House Sitters platform, I think it's 5,000 opportunities,
Right.
more or less.
But anyway, another example in Europe, Italy, it was very hard for us. Even us that we have lots of reviews, it was very hard to get accepted. It was competitive. And we started looking at Slovenia, and not a lot of people go to Slovenia. And we got 1 month house sitting in Slovenia. It was one of our amazing experiences. So the destination also dictated where we're going to travel, depending on the house sitting availability. But to summarize, there is opportunity for everyone. It's like any other travel plans. If you go to a famous destination, then it's going to be hard to book an accommodation, or it's going to be more people going there.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yes, we will be sending out the presentation. We will be sending out the recording as well. Also, if you want to save the chat because there's good information, if you're on desktop, this only works on desktop, you want to download the Zoom chat happening in the right-hand side. Click the 3 dots in the bottom right to save the chat, and it will save it into a Zoom folder on your desktop. Awesome. Okay, so Brian Jenner has a question along with Ashley Westbrook about what is the risk of the homeowner canceling? Like, have they ever backed out? What protections does the site have around this, especially if you have travel already booked to get to that destination?
Well, in 4 years, yeah, we can answer together, but I will answer. In 4 years, the only time we had a house sitting canceled was in the pandemic. We had lined up 1 month house sitting opportunities in Chicago, and we arrived, and we arrived like 3 days ahead, and then pandemic happened, and of course they couldn't travel, so all our house sittings were canceled, and we didn't have a home where to stay, of course, because all of them were canceled. But because of that, now Trusted House Sitters, they offer an insurance. So if your house sitting gets canceled, they actually reimburse the money that you needed to invest or use for an accommodation.
You need to read the fine print, but what I remember is like up to $100 or $150 per day of the seat cancellation. So something like that to cover for your hotel or accommodation because the house it got canceled. So there is that. So that's nice to have as an insurance.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, nobody canceled for us because most of the owners, they plan ahead of you because they have many things to consider, their house, their pets. So they really plan ahead, and it's only in emergency cases that it gets canceled. And if it gets canceled in emergency, there's that 100 or 150, I think. Insurance. But again, read the fine print because the cancellation cannot come from you. It should be agreed with the homeowner that the homeowner was triggered by the homeowner, something like that.
Luckily we didn't need to use it, so we don't know how it works, but we know it's there because now it's part of the membership.
But if you're more interested, message us and I'll send you the link of the fine print because I read that before because I was interested in that also.
But in summary, it's unlikely to happen.
Unlikely to happen. In 4 years, nobody canceled except because of the pandemic.
That I think everyone was affected.
Okay, good to know. It looks like your free house sitting checklist isn't working for some. I just went to the link also. It's not working for me either. It's just the add to cart button that's not clicking through to anything, but all of your other products click through. So everyone, like I mentioned before, you will get the presentation. You will also get the recording. And you should have it hopefully by the end of this week, if not early next week, so that you can go ahead and download Marco and Fran's checklist. So let's do a couple more questions before we leave here. We have so many questions. If wonderful questions. If yours didn't get answered, please reach out to Marco and Fran and Map the Unknown directly. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer any questions you have. So let's see. Cheryl wanted to know, do you ever do a repeat house sit and apply before you leave? Like ask the owner, hey, are you leaving again in like 2023? Can we come back?
Can you repeat that question again? Sorry, I was
Yeah,
looking if we can. If
Oh,
we
no
were
worries.
fixing the checklist. Can
No
you repeat the
worries.
question?
No worries. Cheryl wanted to know if you ever do like a repeat house sit and apply before you leave. Like, oh, if there's like, oh, we're leaving in 2023 for the summer. Do you want to come back, or do you ask the owners that question?
Yeah, that happens a lot. That happened to us in Florida. They invited us to come back for next year. In Grenada, in the Caribbean, also because they leave every year. They leave for the same amount of time and the exact same dates. So they were like, hey, can we count on you next year? So that really happens. In our case, since we were looking to experience different cultures, different lifestyles, we didn't came back. But they offered to us so many times. And we know people, because of our hosts, that they had like regular sitters that every year they go back. So it happens.
All right, good to know.
And sorry, going back to download the checklist, it worked for me. Maybe I'll test again, but I think you just need to check out like any other product, because we uploaded it as a product with but it's free, it's $0. That's how we did it right now. So you need to check out, like do the whole checkout process. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Some people were able to download it successfully, so I don't know.
And maybe try a different browser. Maybe I'm not sure, but it works for me on Google Chrome.
Yeah,
And
it's so odd. Some people it's working, some people's not. It's not working for me on Safari nor Google Chrome. But is this something you're willing, if people sign up for like your email list, is this something that you're willing to give out?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay. So if they sign up on your website, is that something that they could receive?
It's not set up right now, but I think the best way right now is if they just send us their email and we'll email it then to them directly.
Okay, that's very kind of you. Thank you both so much. So everyone, I've dropped in
we can do it manually for them. Just give your email and we will send it to their email.
Perfect. So if you want to send Fran and Marco a message with your email address, they will send you the free house sitting checklist. That's very kind of you. Thank you. All right, let's do one more question with Carol. I love animals, but wonder if you've had ever had any problems with aggressive animals. And I'll add on to that. How do you like vet animals beforehand and ensure that like no one's leaving out any important information or the animal's different from what you thought they were going to be when, since they told you? How do you go through all that?
I'll answer the second question first, then we'll go to the first question with examples. So the second question, like how do we vet the animals? So we do an interview usually. So when we apply for a house sit, we share this in the ebook also, like the interview question is, we always ask about the animals, because again, it's 80% of the time the concern is the animal. So we ask if they have if they are aggressive, or how are they with people, or do they have medical conditions. So those are all important questions to ask. And if you're not comfortable, again, if you're not comfortable and it's not going to work out for you, you don't need to accept that house sitting. But anyway, what we do, that's what we do. We do an interview question and we ask them those important questions before we start. And for the aggressive animals, then you need to trust the owner that the animals are properly trained. We never had a bad experience. Maybe just one in Alaska. One of the dogs has an anxiety issues, and that was expected, but the owner already gave us a heads up. And it's not like it's aggressive, it's just not friendly to us. So it's hard to feed and hard to walk the dog. But other than that, like it's just basically honest communication with a homeowner. And then
Okay, that's
to answer the
sorry,
first
go ahead.
question, sorry, we also had an experience with a very, very old golden retriever. And the golden retriever actually had a seizure while we were house sitting, and we need to rush her to the hospital, to the emergency vet. And well, thankfully we were there and we were able to save her. So it's actually amazing that we were able to save her life. But we had these experiences where we need to, like, you need to take care of them like your own. So we rushed them to the hospital, we paid for the bill, and then the homeowners reimbursed us for that right away. So it's so those experiences are part of house sitting.
Yeah, in 4 years, I think we had only 2 experiences like that.
Mhm.
So it's unlikely to happen, but it can happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good to know that you were there and that no one was with, or that someone was with the golden retriever. That's so sad. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also
So,
happy
oh yeah, go
he
ahead.
survived.
Yes, of course. One of my favorite breeds. All right, everyone. I know some of you didn't get your questions answered, but please feel free to reach out to Fran and Marco directly. I've dropped their contact in the chat multiple times, so hopefully you can see the chat. If not, they are Map the Unknown on every social media platform. You can find maptheunknown.com. I know some of you are only listening right now. You're not viewing the chat, you're not viewing the video. One last question. Someone wanted to know how long the 25% off discount for trusted house sitters was good until.
Anytime.
The 25% off with trusted houses, that's good anytime. There's no end date to that because that's our referral link. But the 30% off on our products and ebooks is only until Saturday.
Okay, 30% off until Saturday the 11th, everyone. No, the 10th, right?
The 10th.
Saturday, December 10th. Yes. So please go ahead and connect with them. Thank you both so much. This was so informational, and you'll probably have a lot of questions and connections coming your way, which is really exciting. And like we said earlier, if you're having trouble downloading the free house sitting checklist, please send them a DM or on any social media platform, and they will send it to you complimentary. So appreciate that so much. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen one more time and then get you out of here. You will get this presentation by hopefully by the end of the week, depending on Nomadic Network when they send it out. Just wanted to share with you a few of our upcoming events right here. This is on the website, thenomadicnetwork.com/events. We have in-person events coming up in Minneapolis, in Austin. We have some virtual events in the beginning of January as well, taking a few days off for the holidays to let everyone rest and relax. So those are upcoming events. Marco and Fran, it wouldn't be the same if it was just you and I talking. So everyone else, thank you so much for being here and being so curious and listening. Thank you for sharing your information. Happy holidays, everyone. Safe travels. And please reach out to Fran and Marco with any additional questions. Thank you from the Nomadic Network.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for participating.